Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Now my last message I talked about if you put something more important than God, or if so you claim someone speaks for God or whatnot. I want to inform you that that also includes things like horoscopes and psychics, because while they don't speak for God per se, they do speak in place of God. So I just want to make sure that that is clear and understood. You should be staying away from those things because they are far from godly. Now that being said, I want to talk about this week's message, why you should not call yourself a Christian if. Now, there was a man who was out interviewing people who believed different things. And he stood in front of this one woman and said, "Okay, I've just been poisoned. I have 3 minutes to live. I need you to tell me how to save my soul." And she really had a whole lot of trouble explaining it or even telling him. She couldn't explain it at all. And he kept counting down, I have 2 minutes left, I have 30 seconds left. And she ultimately came to the conclusion, well, you just have to hope for the best. Now, if you have that mentality, you definitely should not call yourself a Christian. Because people who are true Christians have a certainty of heaven. There is no, did I do enough good things? Am I a good enough person? And that's what a lot of people believe. They think they are good enough, or at least they hope they are good enough. And I've said it several times, and I will never stop saying it. God does not have a pair of scales in heaven. He has a measuring stick, and that measuring stick is himself. And the requirement is perfection. 0 sin ever committed, ever spoken, ever thought. And it's impossible for us to do that. So if you think you are good enough to go, not only are you trying to fool yourself, you are telling Jesus his sacrifice was in vain. Now, a true Christian will say, Jesus died for my sins because I can't do anything about them myself. And if you think you can get to heaven, don't tell people you're a Christian. Don't call yourself one, because you are not. Because there's no such thing as good enough. If we were good enough, Jesus did everything for nothing. Ephesians 2, 8, and 9 say that salvation is a free gift. That is not of yourself. It's not of works. You can't do anything. You can't do enough good. You can't be good enough. It's impossible. So to say you're good enough, you are a liar, according to the Bible. The Bible says Jesus is the only way. Jesus himself said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Now, on another side of this, you do not call yourself a Christian if you are doing things, we'll say, quote, for God, to get a certain place in heaven. There are people all the time, every day, going door to door, knocking, trying to sell their religion to other people. And it's not because they care for your soul. It's because they are trying to get a certain position in heaven, or to get to heaven at all. They're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for selfish reasons. It's almost like a pyramid scheme. If you don't know what that is, it's the idea that you go out and you find people, you have a product, you try to sell the product, and you get people to try to help you sell the product. And the more people you get, the higher a tier you possess. So you're trying to get people to help you possess a higher position. And that's what a lot of these religions are trying to do. They're not doing this because they care about you. They're not, or at least in their minds, they may think they care about you, but that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it so they can secure their place in heaven. And if you're one of those people, do not call yourself a Christian, because that is not why Christians tell people about Jesus. Christians tell people about Jesus because they care about people and they don't want them to spend eternity in hell. That should be the motivation, not because we get anything out of it. Now, we are promised rewards to do the work of God, but only the work that he gives us to do. And that doesn't mean, we're trying to gain a place, or we're trying to gain a position, or get to heaven at all. We're already going. As far as spiritually, we're already there. Now, physically, we'll be there one day. But because we're already going to heaven, we want to bring as many people with us as we can, not because we get something out of it, but because we want to glorify God and enhance His kingdom and not our own. So I want you to examine yourself and say, am I a true Christian? Am I really doing things for the glory of God, or am I doing it for the glory of myself? Now, if you go back at my very first message, it's about salvation, what salvation really is. And if you are unsure, or you're doing these things that I'm describing, and I tell you, if you do these things, don't call yourself a Christian, go back and find the very first message in this series, and it'll describe salvation to you, what it truly means to be a Christian. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.